Have you ever tried introducing something to somebody or explaining something and they just somehow completely miss the point of it all? Or in some cases can't wrap their head around the idea of something just being for fun? Well, that was basically the whole entire story for the Cartoon Network show OKKO, which has by now just ended. Yes, OKKO is over, did all of you know? Because I would not be surprised, because for whatever reason, Cartoon Network sure as hell did not want you to realize that. But what exactly was OKKO? To put it very brief, it was a celebration of cartoons by cartoon fans for cartoon fans, and it did this way by being a light-hearted, tongue-in-cheek, affectionate parody of all of it. And if you want to at all draw any comparisons to this, it would kind of be like Bo 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 Bo, but that was for anime. And what that series was is that it took a bunch of anime cliches and tropes and it made fun of them and parodied them and directly referenced and nod at a few specific things. But it overall had its own plot and a few occasional serious moments thrown here and there and deep character interactions. Even though it was making fun of a lot of stuff, it all in all was over jokingly and affectionate parody of it. Another thing you could compare to is online with Dragon Ball Z Abridged, or just other series that TFS does. Dragon Ball Z Abridged, of course, shortens the Dragon Ball Z storyline and has all these jokes and gags and jabs to the series, but it's by fans of the series and does it lightheartedly in a genuine, heartwarming way. And it still does know when to take itself seriously and have downright awesome moments. And OKKO was a parody like those, where it was lighthearted, tongue-in-cheek parody, and it knew how to be serious at times, and goddamn did it know how to be serious at times, because I won't say anything specific, but that finale did hit really hard. But people seem to have missed the point of that and expected more seriousness out of it, or for it to not be exactly like that. But all what OKKO was supposed to be was be a fun series like those, and be an amalgamation of cartoons and some other nerdy media from over the past few decades by people who have experienced all of that. And that could be seen with some of the crossover episodes like Captain Planet, all of the other Cartoon Network characters that were on at the time, and even Sonic the Hedgehog, and there was supposed to be more like with Space Ghost and Mega Man and Captain Caveman, but those of course never happened unfortunately because the network got shafted. And OKKO knew exactly what it was all the time. It never knew when to stop over the line or anything or take itself too seriously or way too wild. It knew it was just a fictional world, and KO even found out, like, not too late in the series that he was just a fictional character. And knowing that it is a cartoon, it has all these nods and references to many other cartoons that were fun little details, and also gags as part of the show. It was clearly something for cartoon viewers who have been watching for a very long time, and by people who have seen all of them, as in the more cartoons and stuff that you've seen, the funnier the show gets. Specifically, if you've seen a lot of repetitive things or bland things from a little while back, especially the 80s to early 2000s. And if you want to get more specific with that, I mean if you've seen a lot of crap, or maybe not even essentially just all crap, just bland stuff that you might see a lot in shows that were done poorly and not too passionately for little children. And OKKO had a lot of super subtle gags and jokes and overall feeling to these. It's almost like everything was all one big inside joke by people making things together with their friends and just having fun and having all of these affectionate parodies and stupid things thrown in of all of these things that you just love but also make fun of. But you're also trying to make your own final product in the end that's its own complete thing. For example, there was an episode where KO had a sidekick who wanted to really help him and was super passionate about it, but it kept on making mistakes and messing up and ruining things for him. I'm sure you've seen this plot before if you've seen a lot of the repetitive or bland or crap things. And I'm sure that in those things you see the character gradually getting more upset with the one who's trying to help them. And okay, KO achieves a joke on this. That's not too in your face, but also very noticeable if you've seen all of this before, and it becomes super funny for it, especially if you made fun of this stuff on your own before. And what happens is that you see KO reacting to what the character is doing, and he's like, no, no, and this is all over the course of just one scene, and it's like a montage, and by the third or just fourth time the character messed up, it goes from okay, KO, his name's just KO, I'm sorry, yelling no to just angrily roaring with this super deep slow-mo voice. And there's a lot of other things like that, ones that are a bit more subtle, where it pokes fun at cliches and tropes from old cartoons. And it was overall just this whole entire very humorous package of old-fashioned media. Well, not exactly old-fashioned, it had a lot of modern references and stuff too. But it was just this complete package and a celebration of cartoons and how fun and wacky and wild they can be, but also really cool and deep occasionally. And I definitely feel like the finale helped cement at this point of some direct quotes, but I don't want to spoil anything. And despite all of that, people still seem to have missed the point of it and expected it to be super serious and complain that when it wasn't, and would also go on to wrongly compare it to shows such as everything else that was airing on the network and had an ongoing plot. Shows such as Infinity Train and Steven Universe and Adventure Time, when those shows do take themselves seriously, are really cool and all, and I love them. But admittedly, if everything on the network were like that, it would just get old super quickly, and that's never what OKKO was meant to be. It was meant to have a plot like that, but overall just be a fun parody, mostly. And a couple of complaints that I can specifically think off the top of my head is that I once heard somebody complain that the show never takes itself or makes things look like they're serious, such as Carol leaving KO over the weekend with his dad. But that was kind of the point and the joke of it, is that she's leaving him with his dad as if it's a casual you get him every weekend thing, but said dad is a super villain and things escalate from there. But yes, people seem to have not understood, unfortunately, that it was overall just meant to be this, and couldn't have fun and relax and just simply watch the show. And it was also because of that the network didn't really seem to get the potential in it or what the point was either, and ended up death slotting it and treating it horribly and never really mentioning it, despite the fact that it was meant to be a celebration of the Cartoon Network as a whole. So that was kind of insulting and heartbreaking to see. It was almost kind of like the treatment Harvey Beaks got from Nickelodeon, but I would say even more daunting here because of it trying to be like a gift package for the network. And it's also because of those things that I feel like OKKO may actually be the most underrated show ever on the network, even beating things that only lasted only a few episodes just because of all of the potential and promise and points it had to it. But hopefully someday, after people calm down and look back at it with a less serious mindset, then maybe they'll realize that it was just supposed to be a fun gag show, and hopefully then it will get the recognition it deserves for being such a fun, awesome package, cartoon-loving dream package. And, I mean, the limited run makes the show easy enough to rewatch and get to know and recognize all of the characters at least, so there's one good thing about it if you want to find a silver lining in all of this. But anyways, thank you for watching this, and if you feel like that I repeated a lot or just glossed over a few things and you want to point out or ask me to explain something better in the comments, then please feel free to do so.